Welcome to the Salem Lions News Network live stream in association with IHSA TV and brought to you by the generous grants from Ace Hardware of Salem, Hoosier Uplands, Lynx Clothing and Shoes, Eddie Gilstrap Motors, and the Washington County Community Foundation from Paul A. Graves Field. This is the Washington County Community Foundation pregame show. I'm your play-by-play announcer, Nick, and my color commentator is Hunter. Hadley and Joseph are our camera people tonight, and Braden is behind the scenes running the live stream.
Thanks to the Mystery Man for setting this live stream up and our crack research team breaking down the game for us. Tonight we hope to give you different views of the game, so be ready for some sideline action.
The story of tonight's game is the Heat. The start of tonight's game was pushed back an hour because of it. The Heat has even pushed practices to be inside or canceled, and in the case of Silver Creek, they had theirs at 5 a.m. each day. Most other sports throughout the week have been canceled, except our Lady Lions volleyball team, who won their home opener versus MSC foe Austin 3-1. Nice job, ladies. Now let's get back to tonight's game.
Last year, the Lions had a 2-8 record. It's only the third losing season in the past 10 years. The Lions are guided this year by 21st-year head coach Brian Gleasing. He comes in with a 120 to 110 record overall. He was at Shelbyville last year, where the Golden Bears went 1-9. Gleasing is known for rebuilding programs and creating a culture of winning.
I had a chance to talk to the new head coach of the Lions. It's game day finally, and well, the official home opener for your Lions football team. We get to have a chat with the new head coach, Brian Gleasing. Tonight, the Lions square off against the visiting Silver Creek Dragons. Coach, thank you for meeting with me today.
It's great to be here, and it's exciting to be at Salem, and it's exciting for our first home game.
Our first question. First, welcome to Salem. I know we have already had a chance to sit down with you and talk about your 20-plus years of coaching experience. But for those that might not know, give us a brief rundown how you got here to Salem.
Well, it's been a long road. Like I said, I've been all over the place. This is I think my 7th stop as a head coach. I'm originally from Indianapolis, but I was the head coach at LaVille High School up in South Bend for 4 years. And then I moved to Southern Indiana to Clarksville to take the head coaching job for 2 years down there in the early 2000s. And then I was at Floyd Central for 11 years. And then from there, I went to Jeffersonville, Paoli, and Shelbyville. Went back to Central Indiana, and then my wife is from Southern Indiana, so we came back, and Salem is the perfect fit.
Awesome. Every new coach goes about things differently when it comes to creating culture and installing his or her system for a team. How have things gone in this regard, and what things are you trying to instill in your team?
I think things have gone great. We want to instill attitude, character, and effort. Those 3 things are the foundation of our program. If you have those 3 things, the winning will take care of itself eventually. Obviously, you got to have some talent and some on-field stuff, but we want to preach having a great attitude every day, having great character, doing things the right way, and then giving a great effort at all times. I think if you have those 3 characteristics in life, you're going to be successful at whatever endeavor you choose.
And I know it's only week 2 of the young season, but what improvements have you seen from your team since day 1?
I think we've gotten better at hitting and tackling. I think those are the huge things. I think we're practicing better. Our kids are learning how to practice. I think that's a huge thing when you come to a new setting, how you practice, how you transition from drill to drill, and kids understanding what the drills mean and why we do the drills. I think is a huge part of it, and I think our kids are starting to understand that.
Yeah. Last week you faced a big, strong, and athletic North Harrison team. What lessons must your team learn moving forward?
Weight room's important. The weight room's important. I think that was the difference in the football game last week. Is they had their guys were bigger, faster, stronger than our guys, and it showed on the field. But our guys, it didn't affect our effort. Our effort was great. We just sometimes you got guys that you get pushed around a little bit, and that's all down to weight room.
And tonight, the team faces a speedy and athletic team in the Silver Creek Dragons. What are the keys for victory for the Lions?
We got to do our assignments. We got to play as a team, especially defensively. Everyone's got a role to play. We have a team concept on defense where everyone has their role and job to do. And if everyone does that, I think we've got a chance on defense. And then offensively, we got to sustain drives. We got to eliminate our penalties. Last week we had some drives going, and then penalties kind of hurt us a little bit. So we got to eliminate that, and get first downs, keep their offense off the field, and win the time of possession battle.
Okay. Do things feel any different being this is the first game in front of the home crowd?
Well, it's been a unique week because of the heat. We've had to practice inside a little bit, so it's kind of, a lot of things have kind of gone haywire as far as your normal routine. But the good news is the other teams have been, Team Silver Creek's had to do the same thing or adjust their practices. So really, it's kind of, we really haven't thought about it because I've been working on, doing things for practice. So now that we get closer to the end of the week, I'm excited to see a home football game here at Salem in the big crowd, and hopefully the heat will break a little bit so everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah. Do you have any rituals or superstitions for game day?
Oh, not really. I think maybe when I was younger, I thought I believed in those things or things like that. I want everything to go smoothly. So, I really don't. I really don't. I think some coaches do, some coaches don't. But, for me, I really don't. I just like the atmosphere of Friday Night Lights, and I don't wear a certain shirt or I don't wear certain socks. I don't, it's just the way I've always been.
And any final thoughts, Coach, for Lions Nation?
Yeah, just be patient because we're going to get better. We're going to get better as a football team. It's we're very young, starting a lot of young guys, some freshmen, some sophomores. So it's a process. When we want a program that everyone's proud of, that our community's proud of. And in order to get all those things established, like attitude, character, and effort, it takes time. It takes a lot of time to get all that established. So hopefully everyone's patient, and I think eventually you're gonna love the product that's on the field.
Thank you for speaking with me today, Coach, and we wish you all the best tonight. This has been Nick Ingram with the Salem Lions News Network. Now let's get back to the field for tonight's matchup versus the Dragons.
So let's break the game down.
To start, the Lions come into the game ranked 241st according to the Sagarin ratings, and the Dragons enter ranked 212th. John Harrell has picked the Dragons to win 31-14. Out of the last 5 meetings, the Lions are 0-5, with their last win coming in 2016. While this matchup seems a little one-sided, the Lions come into this home opener determined to put on a show for the home crowd.
The Dragons are coached by David Pappenhaus, 27-14 in his 5th year at the school. They're coming off a 28-13 loss to Charlestown, a game they were in until late in the 4th quarter. The Dragons moved the ball 106 yards on the ground and 90 yards through the air.
Offensively, they are quick. Unlike North Harrison, who runs with power, the Dragons will use their speed. They mainly run the ball, but when they go to the air, the Lions need to be cautious to the deep ball. Leading the Dragons is junior quarterback Keaton Ward, a transfer from Eastern High School in Louisville, who will hurt you with both his legs and his arm. Junior Jeremy Powell is the go-to guy in the run game, having the most carries last week and adding 2 touchdowns. Bryce Henderson and Darius Gray are the receivers out wide, with Gray having 4 receptions and Henderson 3 against the Pirates.
Defensively, their defense looked shaky last week, giving up 28 points and 297 yards to Charlestown. The Dragons will mix up defenses. They primarily will play a 5-2 defense and will occasionally throw in an extra defensive back for their nickel package. Look for the Dragons to crowd the line of scrimmage against the young and run-dominating Lions. Last week, the Dragons forced 2 fumbles and also tacked on an interception, so ball security will be crucial tonight for Salem.
Now let's shift the attention to the Lions. They are led by first-year Lions head coach Brian Gleasing. They were last on the field playing the Cougars of North Harrison, where they fell 35-7. However, the Lions were without Noah Dalton, who starts on both sides of the ball, and Evan Bowling, who was taken out of the game for much of the second half. Take away the injuries and a couple of penalties, and it would have been a much closer game. Unfortunately, the Lions are battling injuries again tonight with Noah Dalton and Noah King both out.
Defensively, the Lions run a 4-3 setup with 2 safeties and 2 cornerbacks. The Lions struggled last week against a very run-heavy Cougar team. Silver Creek will look a lot different than the Cougars and will mix in a lot of passing to their run-based offense. Last week, the Lions gave up a lot of yards on first down, which the Cougars were able to take advantage of a lot on short second and third down plays. The Lions will need to change that tonight and look to limit the first down yardage.
On offense, the Lions will run a run-dominant offense with a running back and 2 wingbacks. Last week, the run game looked pretty good, but the pass game was a different story. The Lions only passed the ball 6 times and connected on 2 of those plays. Tonight, the Lions will need to run the ball well, but when they move to the air, connect more than 2 plays.
So what will the Lions need to do to ensure victory? Here are the Salem Ace Hardware keys to victory.
Lions must continue to build on their run game.
Lions must be able to limit the Dragons' first down yardage.
Lions must play Team D. They must keep to their keys and swarm the ball.
Lions need to match their speed on both sides of the ball.
Lions need to limit penalties and not give up free yards.
Lions must stop Dragons quarterback Keaton Ward in the air and on the ground.
And lastly, the Lions must stay disciplined and stay hungry.
This has been the Washington County Community Foundation pregame show.
And now a word from IHSA Commissioner and Coach Bob Lovell.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports, here's Coach Bob Lovell with Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Welcome back, everyone. We are so glad you're with us for our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Commissioner, week one of high school football in the books. It was a great night weather-wise, great night in terms of games, attendance, everything about it was just a wonderful way to start this season.
First of all, week one, coaches have, as we said last week, half the teams in the state are undefeated and half the teams in the state are defeated, and
right.
But they're all refocusing this week, and I was just looking at some of the matchups, and it's going to be another banner week of high school football across the state.
You and your staff had a board meeting earlier in the week. I'm curious, for those who don't understand, you and your staff sitting in Indianapolis, you don't make all the rules. So this isn't a member institution type of association where the membership makes its own rules and you carry out their wishes. And so I'm curious in terms of structure and what you can tell people what a board meeting consists of and how agenda items actually get on that agenda for these meetings.
Yeah, Coach, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about that because it is truly a membership organization. Schools, they're not required to be a member of this association. They choose to do so. They elect a board of directors from the membership that serve this organization. I mean, they have full authority to set bylaws and hire and fire me, of course. And then, anything needs to be changed along the way, and it often does. After robust discussion and study, the bylaws are changed, and that's the way it works. And the other piece of this is any member school principal across our 410 school have the ability to author a bylaw for consideration of change with our board of directors. And so, it's a system that's worked obviously since 1903, and I think it continues to work really well today. And, we just left a board meeting earlier this week, and we've spent about almost 4 hours discussing different things around the state, from tournament financial reports to penalties assessed to tournament alignments. We approved one thing we did this week was approve the boys and girls basketball tournament for this upcoming year. And so we're already thinking about the winter coming up here and what the winter sports are going to look like. So, it's just kind of a never-ending process.
Right.
And things change out there. Schools change. Education changes. Unfortunately, people also try to find ways to we'll just say, cheat the system a little bit in my world. That
right.
book is awful thick because we got people who haven't done the right thing along the way, try to gain an advantage. And, but anyway, we'll keep chasing those things too.
One of the things you talked about was a record-breaking year at the gate, with your box office receipts. Your attendance was record-breaking also. It was a fantastic year in many ways for the association last year.
Attendance was up again, so we certainly went through COVID, and then we're saying, is people going to come back? Well, they came back in record numbers, and then we even surpassed that this past year. We sold about 28,000 more tickets this past year than we did the previous year across all of our sports, and so very pleased with that. But one thing I'm real pleased with, Coach, is this association for the member schools operation we do not operate off of tax dollars. Everything that we do comes in through gate receipts and some sponsorship dollars, but the primary driver of this whole thing is we return a lot of money back to our member schools, and annually this year specifically, we're going to turn back an additional $800,000 to the member schools. So the total amount that will be back to school distribution is going to be about $208 million this year. And that's money that our schools keep locally from tournament participation. And that doesn't happen anywhere but Indiana, and so we're so pleased to be able to do that. And we want to be able to return those dollars. And it's specifically from tickets back to our member schools for their operations of their athletic departments.
Thanks for listening to The Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig and Coach Bob Lovell. And thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.